We'll start over, man. Welcome to Vibe Osmosis. How you doing today, man?
Shit, I'm cool.
Good, good. Welcome to the show. Go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do.
I'm Goldfacemoneywatch. Um, I do everything for real.
All right. So the last thing that I've seen of yours was like this video, Gurr.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is really sick. What inspired that video and that sound and style?
Uh, Doom. No, I'm just kidding. Fucking no, that has a lot of meanings. But no, it's like actually that video was it was a cool chemistry between me and my homie Slag. We've been co-producing a lot of music together for like the past uh coming up on over a year, but what's it called? It's kind of like I'm usually a one-man army on the visual side, and it gets to be like really how do you say, like a lot to handle because I mix my own music, like blah, blah, blah. So I pretty much, you know what I'm saying, just told him if he want to start, you know what I'm saying, doing some so he started playing with uh like just phone apps and different, you know what I'm saying, would just send like little like we just would kind of combine, so like that
Huh?
video is more like effect heavy, you know what I'm saying, more, but it worked for the song though. Like I don't know, it's a lot.
Yeah, man. And like how long have you been recording and playing music and doing your own stuff?
My whole life for real.
Yeah. So what got you introduced or started?
um Paid product placement, no, I'm just uh but
Cheers.
it's
Cheers, my dude.
okay, passed. Okay, I can rock with it. Having Miller time over here.
Yeah.
But I would say, what did you say? What got me started with what?
Yeah, what got you started in introducing to doing your own music?
Oh shit, I like just my parents are artists, not in music, but video and writing and stuff, and fucking like I just had a musical upbringing.
Nice. So what was your first doll?
Garage band for sure. Like on
Ah,
like I went to like a week long like Apple camp when they first opened the Apple store in Cleveland or whatever, and it was like they taught us like iMovie Garage band. I was like 10.
nice.
So then like I was like by the time I was 11 and in sixth grade, I was definitely like burning CDs and passing them out at school and stuff.
Do you remember like your first computer? Like, was it a Mac?
EMAC, yeah. Well, no. My family had like the colorful beach ball Macintosh computers before that, but the first one that uh the EMAC, the white EMAC beach ball looking thing, like that was like 2004, 2005. I think Apple had that shit out. It was like it was like cheaper than the iMac, but still like the whole unit in one, which was like Apple was the first to really do that.
Yeah.
But uh, but yeah, just GarageBand on that. I'm saying like was like until I was like 15, and then 15 Pro Tools and Reason till
Okay.
I was like 19. I still record on Pro Tools to this day, but I make beats in Ableton and stuff now.
Yeah, I love what Ableton has to offer. Even though they switched up old school Ableton Live, I miss the old version. Some days I have like my old Mac and it still has like the version that never updated because like
I
I
do, I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm still
yeah.
making beats off of my old one. I just finally got a new computer. That's what I'm all right now talking to you. Like after like a long, I've been like editing videos with half a screen, even like ever. Like, but so what's it called? But I downloaded Ableton on here, and I just it it looks, I mean, it's the same shit, but it's just something about like the newer one. Like, yeah, I just haven't even been like, oh, it hasn't been motivating me to start a beat in there as opposed to my old computer. Like,
Yeah, I think that they do like add some of that AI stuff where it makes it a little bit more feng shui and some stuff or tighten things up, which I
but
love. I mean,
I
yeah.
feel like one of the things I like about Ableton is the lack of graphics. Because like, why do you want, as
Exactly.
opposed, the opposite example would be, I think like FL is like the most graphics heavy,
Yeah. So
like
what started Goldfacemoneywatch?
um I I answered this in but it's not that easily accessible of an interview, but it's because it just was one of those things I just knew like within myself. But I'm a yellow planetary sun in Mayan astrology. I'm probably gonna be answering this question forever, like for the rest of my life. So I'm not even,
You will.
but it's like, it's just kind of one of them things that like came to me. It just like was my soul. Like I just knew it was like, but then it kind of got ahead of me to by the time I was even, it's like other people had uh a what I'm saying, had adopted it so quickly before I could even would have even been able to thought about, oh, I don't like that name, I'm gonna go to another one. Because when you're young, you're still finding yourself and figuring out like what you're gonna run with and shit. But it was like I basically, was dabbling with that name and everybody else ran with it. So I was like, shit, I'm gonna rock with it. Like, but then when I found out my Mayan galactic signature, like in Mayan astrology and shit, I found out I was a yellow planetary sun. And so it's like yellow planetary sun, like gold face, money, what, like, you know what I'm saying? It means like the same
Yeah.
thing, like modern. So it really is literally my soul, like my star.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and that's something I didn't know personally. And do you remember like your first like instrument, like your first microphone?
Or, oh, guitar and piano as a kid, like that's one of the things I definitely be forever thankful to my mom for, like, always having me in music lessons and shit as a kid. Like, but first microphone, dog, like I'm like the opposite of an equipment snob, like, because I'm so like good at what I do that it's like, I play $100, $200 guitar, I fucking record on $100 microphone, like, and know how to fucking EQ it, even if I'm on somebody else's computer using stock plugins. Like, I just
Yeah.
understand, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make it work with whatever.
So like right now, are you currently working on projects?
Hell yeah.
Do you have
That
anything lined up for 2024 right now?
Oh yeah, I have, yeah, a lot. I guess like it, it's so much it's gonna sound like gibberish right now, but if somebody goes back and watches this later on, like uh the last project I put out of 2023 was called Believe in Magic 2 Reverse the Curse, uh with my
Yeah.
homie co-producer Believe from Dose Money. But now forthcoming, I have a lot of like EPs, and more like how I'm viewing them as kind of like mixtapes of consolidations of kind of like past. Like, I'm really trying to flood everything. So it's like, I got a whole, so on the longer project side, it's gonna be one called Crystal Ball with my homie Slag. Then there's gonna be a 13 song album called Spider that was from this really like nightmarish, like paranoia, like it's kind of like got like a noir type like vibe, like
Oh
kind
yeah.
of just like paranoid bad trip that like I'm not still in the mentality I was in when I was making the music, but I just believe in like putting everything out, like, you feel me.
Yeah.
But it didn't come out at the time that it was being made, because it was such a dark time in my life that it was just factors even preventing it from just getting to that last like finalization stage. And like it's kind of like the music was too, it was like real like heavy and personal at the time that I was making it, but now with like a disconnect from it, it's more just like theatrical, like you know what I'm saying, like oh it just
Yeah.
sounds like nightmare, like you know. But then so then there's Crystal Ball, but then there's gonna be Crystal Ball, like Cristobal. That's like gonna be like a 5 to 7 track, more like experimental rock
Nice.
alternative EP. Uh you know, I don't know. It's Super Trippy 2. That's gonna be crazy. Like
Dude,
me
it's
and my one
coming.
homie, me and my one homie had made a project like it came out in like 2020 called like Super Trippy Cali Kushta Acid Extra Dosage. And it was like a party project, like you know, 4 or 5 people, like because it was like we was all in a party house making the music, and it was like kind of like everybody would get on each other's songs and shit. So it was kind of some shit like that. And then it was like almost right after Super Trippy 1 came out, we was making Super Trippy 2, but then you know some other projects and things in my life just started picking up to where like that just it like sat and to me was like shelved, to
Yeah.
only to earth it like 2 3 years later to be like it aged like not only like acceptably, like sometimes I still put stuff out just to put it out if it aged even acceptably, but it aged like exceptionally, like fucking like oh this shit got better because as you know distance from it and stuff, it almost doesn't even seem real anymore at this point that all these people was in the room together making music, like you know what I'm saying, like. And it's just like really fun,
Yeah.
like you know
Yeah.
I feel like the spider project I'm putting out, that's like the opposite of fun. Like there's nothing fun about that project. It's like really just like, you know, dark, but it's raw. It's hard, but like, you know what I'm saying? But the Super Trippy 2, like that shit just is like a party.
Now, whenever you're working on music, do you like keep in mind of like wanting to perform this and show this too, or do this differently whenever you have a show?
Yeah, I make so much music that, you know, I could pretty much adapt to any show. Like, and to me, a lot of times that ends up being like a game time decision, like very close to the point of even performing. But what I found worked for me, because I've been in bands before and stuff too, and that's really what I'm always like building towards. Like, you know, I always feel like an ideal point to be at for a career would be to like, you know, have some at least type of, you know, management or booking agents that's like taking the burden off of, you know, certain things, and then some type of revenue stream that can like, you know, just fund like, you know, some type of like live set with, you know what I'm saying, with multiple band members and stuff, because I do love the feeling of improvisation and just, you know, interaction in the moment of being in a band, because I play instruments and stuff. But uh you know that's just not practical in, you know what I'm saying, this day and age a lot. So that's to me like anytime I like, you know, coming to, you know, had certain points in my life where I've been hustling at this or that, so I'm getting money, so I would always, you know, put it back into funding doing the band thing sometimes. But you know I was locked up for like a year and a half, and like from like 2017 to 2019 when I got out, I was like that, because I had been doing the band shit before I got locked up. I knew when I
Yeah.
got out, I was like, I'm gonna be doing the solo, you know what I'm saying, just rap, you know what I'm saying, play the backing track thing for a while. But still, some shows I bring out the guitar, bring a drummer and guitar, like you know what I'm saying. It depends, but like, you know, what's it called? Uh, anyway, but for a while I would like struggle because I like throw shows too and shit, and I had to realize that it's okay to get on other people's shows, and that actually made made me so able to like, you know, figure out more about, you know, at this stage of like what I like from a performance from myself. Cause when you're throwing the show and shit, it would be like, I'm constantly, you know what I'm saying, but to where my mind's not on the right in the right headspace by the time I hit the stage. But like so then like getting on other people's, shows or, that's already parties as is and gonna have, what I'm saying, people that a lot of times like fresh faces, like, to me, that's kind of what you want. But so, whereas some people get trapped in a mind state of even having a fan base at all that knows their music and like they're like, that's how people get, some big bands are like just have a set of hits they perform like or people only want to hear certain songs. I don't have no one song that's just my one song that people just need to hear at every like so I found out what best for me is like literally I'm gonna dance more if it's probably something I made that week. Like I've literally like, what I'm saying, stayed up all night recording like 3 songs the night before I got a flight to LA from Cleveland, touched down in LA and performed what I recorded the night before, just them 3 songs, like, and been one of my best energy wise live performances on my, I ain't know the words, but that just made me like dance and interact with the crowd more. Like,
yeah. So whenever you're working like with gear and stuff, what kind of gear do you like to use?
Like you're like how I use anything. Like I have my own little toys, but I don't have any like I think both since I ever owned in my life, that was both just like smaller entry level. Like I'm gonna get another one, but the crazy thing is they discontinued them, but then they doubled in price. But the Alesis Micron synths from back in the day that were like $400 or whatever. I don't know if you're familiar. But I used to
have some cool stuff.
Yeah, and then I think I had not the micro cord, but I had like no, the one I had like Roland's version of a mini but I think it might have actually been analog, not analog modeling, but I liked that, but broke that. We probably spilled beer on it, dropped it too many times. Like we get still. I mean, it depends on the situation, but like I make a lot of wild situations. Like me and my friends get like turned up. You know what I'm saying? Like we be glass, spray painting the walls. Boxing, all type of shit in the studio while we make music. Like fucking so. Like I said, that's why I don't like anything too expensive. I've had a male witch from Jamaica in his 40s break the most expensive guitar I owned with his mind on my 28th birthday because I was mad I didn't die at 27, and he started explaining like the Jamaican version of the Robert Johnson story, like what with little chants in between, blah blah blah. And he's like, and then the devil turn your guitar too loose or too tight. And as he said, too tight, the strings on the guitar from like 30 feet away on this like white Fender Strat tightened, and then it snapped in the air. And he's like, you know what that means? And I was like, what? He was like, you're blessed, like you broke the curse, like that's why you didn't die at 27. Like, and it was like right as I turned 28 and the guitar like, and I'm saying like it could be shit like that, or it could be like, you know what I'm saying, like rolling around in broken glass wrestling with your homies, and then somebody rolls over a guitar and it, like, you know what I'm saying. But I'm saying I just, any situation I'm in, or like one time my homie was throwing hands with somebody outside the studio, and the dude he was fighting came flying in and literally like came this close like to my guitar or whatever, and fucking so instinctively I just like had to like protect my baby type shit. So I swear I lifted dude up by his shirt, but he claimed like he was saying that I lifted him up by his braids and pulled his hair out or crazy. But like, fucking.
Would you consider yourself a spiritual person then?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. So like with your song about ghosts, like, do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
whatever you want to mean by that, I believe in
I'm
another
on the
day.
same page. I think like there's a phenomena that you can't explain that shows that there's something else beyond. And I think that kind of also like plays a big part about like pushing forward no matter what. And your
Hell
case, like with breaking the curse, whenever you pushed on forward, the amount that you have to show for it now is incredible.
yeah.
And that
Yeah.
I'm guessing that kind of spoke like its own language as far as like being a spiritual phenomenon.
Oh, yeah, no, I say like one thing I realized about life, because I definitely grew up like an angsty, depressed, like, you know what I'm saying, existential teenager and shit that was like proud to say that I didn't believe in God. But once I really dedicated, the thing is like faith is to be understood through acts of faith. You know what I'm saying? You have to know that feeling of being held in the palm of something greater when it's no other explanation of what's holding you through the night. Like, you know, but so like one thing I realized definitely is like keep going. Like I would have never thought uh you know that I would even be as like healthy or vibrant or anything like, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
this far along, you know what I'm saying? But it just made me realize like my work wasn't done at any points where I thought it was all over, you know what I'm saying? Even you know what I'm saying, getting arrested and knowing the situation that it was most likely gonna be something that I was already out on bond, like, you know, like fuck it, I'm gonna have to sit my ass down for a little second and think, you know, and it's like I lived a whole life after that, like some of the most beautiful times of my life that I was sitting in there thinking that it wasn't gonna come. Like, you feel me? Like that's always something. It's always a brighter day, like ahead type shit.
now here's some of the essential vibe osmosis questions. Okay, these are the hits. All right. Um,
All right.
yeah. So if you were stranded on an island, but you could only take one thing with you, what would you bring?
Fucking probably. I mean, I would say like a nylon string guitar, but with strings that never break. Cause then it also like kind of functions as a drum and shit like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
pretty much everything else, I feel like I could just figure out there. Like if I wanted to write something or make paint out of berries or something, like I don't know.
Work
I
with.
feel like I feel like I ain't really gonna make the guitar from scratch on an island, so I probably would want to just have like
Do you remember like how old you were whenever you got your first tattoo?
yes. Uh, I was like 22, 21, 22.
What was the tattoo?
Um, it was my initials, Goldfacemoneywatch,
Hell,
and
yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
and it was actually I
Calling it
didn't
right on.
I didn't know it at the time, but it was an Illuminati witch that took me to go get it at some just like random house. And as soon as I got it, because it was my name, and to me, I was like, you know, at that point, it was never no question in my mind about like going back on
Yeah,
me myself and going all out with music and shit. But it
yeah,
was right as the tattoo finished, I walked into the other room and it was SpongeBob on the TV. And it was like an episode where they time travel or whatever, and he gets lost in the void and he's just shouting, forever, forever, forever. But it
yeah,
was like that
yeah,
moment I felt like I had basically like signed my soul to myself. Like I had confirmed, you know what I'm saying, over my heart. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm Goldfacemoneywatch. Like, that's what I'm here to do.
yeah, yeah. The next one. If you had a time machine, would you go forwards or backwards, and why?
Man, if I can't if I can't figure out how to time travel with just this, then I don't really want no parts. I ain't gonna play with rhetoric.
So one thing I'm really interested in is like time zone places because like there's places where you split from like Colorado going through uh yeah from like South Dakota going down to Colorado you enter like this the mountain time zone and you enter a spot where you're in two different time zones technically, but you don't realize it because you're in the mountains and you have no service and everything. But it's like, I mean, people that are from there out there, they have the service to know like what exactly area is what's the time zone. But whenever you come back out of it, you feel like that jet lag of like, oh wow, like I've finally got forward an hour or whatever. And I think it's really interesting with like, technology today, you can talk to somebody and it be tomorrow for them and it'll be a different day. And I'm like, is the internet time traveling? And we don't understand that you can time travel through the internet? Like, how exactly does it kind of come into the future that we like are now living because of like all this
I
VR
think
stuff?
that's where people get it fucked up is people are so concerned on this concept of the future, like,
It's true.
all these things are spiritual concepts, like, quantum physics is also, just using science talk to
Yes,
describe that have probably been done by cultures on this earth for a very long time that they don't want us to know about,
I completely agree with
because
you.
the people that pull the strings, I feel it's shifting a little bit out of it. But if you was born in the I was born in the 90s, but even if you was born in the 80s or early 2000s, the people we grew up with as at least the puppeteers of the government or the infrastructure of this country are black magicians, which is not the same thing as dark magic or sorcery or what, what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Black magic actually involves, one, the use of blood, but that's a whole separate story. But the pulling the wool over the eyes of the people, like they
yeah,
actually want, what I'm saying? So we don't know how spiritually we have to get to a certain point in our lives and then use tools like yoga, jogging, psychedelics, to reawaken, some of our spiritual awareness that, we kids are tapped in with. And then we go through this process of this programming, even everything from fluorescent lights and that they have in the institutions, all type of stuff. It's like from the time that we're like, age 5 to, when we're in high school. And then that's kind of like the moment where it's like you're either a quote unquote bad kid, fuck up, and you break out of the system, or you're like, I'm gonna take this a little further because I know something that I want. Like for me, I did 1 year of audio engineering school because then I got to go to another state and I, got to, but then by the time I felt like I had took what I needed from it, and
yeah,
walk in any studio and know what to do. But at the end of the day, I seen where everything was headed towards anyway, as far as just an interface plugged into a computer. And you know but I still appreciate, what I'm saying, I still appreciate the past and shit, like, and all the, other methods like, taping. But just because it's cool, like tape is trippy, what I'm saying, how they press vinyl is trippy, like, you
exactly
know
right. It's a
um
magic of its own how they did it back in the
mhm,
day.
uh-huh.
Now
But
to bring up music though. I
yeah,
mean, like, we love music, so like, shout out some music and stuff that you listen to that's inspired you.
that's inspired me. I would say, okay, if I'm starting with like, you know, giants that, I don't know personally and stuff, I would say like, Miles Davis, Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, um, Rick James. But a lot of times I look at the life of somebody that led an interesting life and stuff. Like Rick James' autobiography is my favorite book. But uh, and then I would say like if I'm bringing it to like uh uh I don't know, I would say, you know I mean, I listen to I really listen to my friends, honestly, me and my, like, anything but artists that I'm a fan of that, I mean, definitely Ariel Pink, you know what I'm saying? It's like, a combination between a friendship and I'm also a fan of his whole, what I'm saying, prolific
Yeah,
body of work, you know.
some amazing, amazing albums, amazing records, and songs like. gotta give it to the artist.
Hell yeah. Like, my Spotify Wrapped every year, like, it really be though, like pretty consistently, like, uh I don't know. But a lot of things it's like, cause with other stuff, it's like I'm super hyper focused right now to where I don't really spend a lot of time being a consumer or being a fan of stuff. But when you're younger, you have more time for stuff like that. So like, like if I'm trying to have like an experience of, you know, uh altering my mind and listening to music, like
Yeah.
now it's gonna be something I'm working on or something I've done or something of somebody I know or blah, 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 something, you know what I'm saying? The spider web only, I'm not gonna like really have too much time to like kick back, I feel like, and like smoke a joint to a Jimi Hendrix album, like at this point in my life, because I've really studied a lot of that music at other points in my life and stuff. But it's all to everything. I like electronic stuff too. I would say Flying Lotus is a
Yeah.
inspiration to my production up there with Ariel. Like, uh, cause the thing with Ariel's music, is, well, he always seen in mind how it, what I'm saying, sounded, of the same, from the same planet, even when other people wouldn't see it. Like he used to, he told me this years later on, but when we had first met and stuff, and he was more, doing more, I guess playing the industry game a little bit. He shot me to like labels back in like 2015 and stuff, and this was when like, he's doing big sets at Coachella, blah blah. Like he's in it, like, what I'm saying,
That's
just got back from the
true.
European tour, and I'm homeless, 21 years old on the streets of LA with an acoustic guitar, dirty as fuck, like, what I'm saying, just
Yeah.
being a bad kid, what I'm saying. And so like nobody else really in that world at the time, like, was seeing the vision at all. And so it was something like he always, what I'm saying, seen something in me long before my music even matched up to like what could be like relatable in that world. You know what I'm saying? So he would play my music in like, the indie rock world at labels and shit. Like, and at that age and level of maturity and wisdom about the industry, I probably would have signed anything put in front of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad it didn't
Yeah.
happen like that.
Yeah.
But I remember him just like expressing to me like that he was so confused, like how they didn't understand my music. Like he was like, "What? How can you not see it?" You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
But
Um, some of the I guess one of my favorite all-time questions. Um, Favorite movies that you grew up like loving?
I think my favorite movie, I mean, I didn't grow up loving it, but Rosemary's Baby.
Oh yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. That movie's wild. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
weird choice.
yeah, I relate to that movie heavily.
I feel like in that correlation, the translation into Roman wait with Roman
You can
Polanski.
translate it. You can segue into anything from
I'm like
Rosemary's Baby.
I'm
That's
like,
just
yeah,
a
but
lot.
Rosemary's Baby then like what Roman Polanski was like up to, and then we get like what Woody Allen has become today. You're like, what was manifesting in
Hey,
the time
Roman
of this
Polanski, the
movie?
Wooden
You
Alley.
know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about Woody Allen. I couldn't even tell you what he even did, but
But he did some
I
funny
fuck,
movies.
I fucks with Roman Polanski's, like,
Yeah,
I
some
mean,
really interesting
I,
versions.
I would just say that, like, he was a Holocaust survivor. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure he lost both his parents in the Holocaust. Like, with trauma like that, you know what I'm saying? And just, I don't know, you feel me? Like, but at the same time, like, John Todd Collins, the ex-Satanist or ex-Illuminati, he went on Oprah, and I listen to his stuff a lot, but I actually sampled it on my last album, the intro on Believe in Magic 2. But he basically said that the Sharon Tate, like, you know, La Bianca house, you know, stuff with Charles Manson and stuff,
Yeah.
that was all, you know, higher level, like, you know, between the circus that it was in the media and, you know, just uh the actual sacrifice. You know, you probably gotta blur that on YouTube or whatever, but like of the cult, like, you know what I'm saying, that Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate were both in the Hollywood, you know, cult basically, and that was intentional, like they willed that. It wasn't like just a random.
Now, I do think that in today's world, we have an actual cult that's still manifesting, that is maybe living in LA outside of Scientology.
All
Uh,
aligned with Scientology, and they all have tunnels that connect.
they
Scientology,
they have way.
Scientology started. I mean, L. Ron Hubbard was a high level Mason. He was actually
Yes,
in the
yeah,
same order with Aleister Crowley, and they would correspond by mail.
yeah. Um, before we go though, I appreciate you taking the time to get into this. Before we go though, in a nutshell, how would you describe Goldfacemoneywatch music to the listeners and people that never heard of you?
I would just call it spirit music, the same way you call anything, like, you know, because I'm most known for psychedelic trap, but I do so much, and really I see, you know, maybe my next year is playing out a lot more, getting back to like the live performance end of like the guitar stuff and shit. You know, it's just, it's everything. I do everything. Oh yeah,
All
awesome,
right.
bro. Appreciate
Thank you for
it.
taking the time. And yeah, like I can add this in. If you have any shout outs, go ahead and put this in.
Uh, damn, with the minute left, it's getting stressful,
I
man.
know,
Shout
like
out
any shout out.
the whole Dose Fam, fucking Kick, fucking Believe, Sport. Shout out fucking Kill Cody, Under Queen. Shout out Nixie. Uh, man, just shout out the whole Dose Fam, Low Number Cleveland, just everything. Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
Better Off Day, Ash, fucking Tommy, fucking. Just shout out the team, man, for real.
Also,
Shout out Ariel Pink.
also before we go though, what
Yeah.
brought you to Ohio?
I was born in Ohio. Then the
All
other
right.
place I lived is like LA and Nashville and stuff.
Ohio represent. I'm from like I mean I was born in Portsmouth. I grew up in Chillicothe. I left from Dayton to back out here again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Seattle.
I got some bars about dating sometimes.
I know, like Dayton's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Laid over at the Dayton Greyhound station for like